Welcome to our in-depth exploration into global anti-American sentiments. We're about to dive into a world filled with complex social, political, and economic threads that tie nations together, or at times, create rifts amongst them. In this educational journey, we will be examining the very fabric of international relations, understanding the tensions, agreements, disagreements, and conflicts that shape how nations perceive the United States of America. We will navigate through the turbulent waters of North Korea's defiance, a country that, despite its size, is a significant player on the international stage. We'll seek to unravel the reasons behind their unyielding confrontational posture towards the USA. Next, we'll turn our lenses towards Iran. For decades, Iran's disdain for American policies has been a crucial component of their national rhetoric. We will delve into the historical and contemporary reasons that fuel this animosity, seeking to provide a balanced and comprehensive analysis. Then we'll transition to Venezuela, a country that, despite its ongoing economic and political crisis, has remained resolute in its accusations against the USA. Together, we will attempt to decode the underlying causes of this strained relationship. In addition, we will look at Russia, a nation that has always had a complicated rapport with America. We'll peel back layers of history, politics, and culture to understand this dynamic and ever-changing relationship. Finally, we will gaze upon the looming figure of China. With its rapid economic growth and increasing global influence, China's growing animosity towards the USA demands our attention. We will dissect the issues at play and the potential future this journey. We will be your guides, helping you to understand these intricate connections and the real-world implications. We will ask tough questions, challenge established narratives, and strive to uncover the realities hidden beneath the surface. So buckle up and join us as we navigate through this intricate labyrinth of international relations. Let's dive right in. Their leaders have condemned American policies, delivering speech after passionate speech that radiates their disapproval of American strategies. In their public appearances, these leaders, enshrined in power and deeply respected by their people, regularly criticize the United States, driving a narrative that seems to revolve around a single, pronounced theme: the perceived injustice of American policies. Often they take to a myriad of platforms, from televised addresses to social media outbursts, all in a bid to voice their displeasure. They decry what they view as the intrusive nature of American foreign policies. They lament the perceived loss of sovereignty, the indignities suffered under what they perceive as America's domineering shadow. But their condemnation is not merely expressed through words. It's reflected in their actions too. They distance their nations from America, in diplomatic ties, in trade agreements, in international forums where the world comes together to make collective decisions. They don't just speak of their disapproval, they exhibit it, they live it, in every decision they make, every policy they shape. And this narrative that they craft, this rhetoric that they skillfully weave, it's not just for show. It serves a bigger purpose. It's aimed at their people, their citizens who look up to them for guidance, who trust them to navigate the treacherous waters of international politics. They aim to instill in their citizens a sense of unity against a common foe. They constantly reinforce an us versus them mentality among their citizens. It's a powerful strategy, a potent tool used to rally their people. It unifies their nations, binds them together in shared sentiments against America, reinforcing a collective identity shaped by opposition and defiance. The Islamic Republic has openly expressed its disdain for the USA. This sentiment is not a new development, but rather a long-standing feud that dates back decades. Tensions have always been high, rooted in a complex history of conflicting ideologies, doctrines, and geopolitical strategies. The root of this discord is deeply intertwined with the narrative of the past century. The Islamic Republic, rich in cultural heritage and ancient civilization, has always been a distinctive entity on the world stage. Its unique political structure, enmeshed with religion, sets it apart and often at odds with Western nations, particularly the USA. The USA, on the other hand, has touted itself as a beacon of democracy and freedom, principles that often clash with the theocratic government of the Islamic Republic. The two nations have been locked in a power struggle, each defending its own set of values and political ideologies. Central to this discord is the issue of perceived interference. The Islamic Republic argues that the USA has continually meddled with its internal affairs, a claim that is not entirely unfounded. There have been instances of covert operations, regime change strategies, and strategic alliances that the USA has supposedly been involved in, all of which has exacerbated the tension between these nations. Moreover, the USA has frequently imposed sanctions on the Islamic Republic, exerting economic pressure in an attempt to influence policy changes. These sanctions have crippled the Islamic Republic's economy, leading to widespread discontent and further fueling the nation's resentment towards the USA. Yet it is essential not to oversimplify this relationship. While there is certainly hostility, there are also periods of diplomatic dialogue, albeit fraught with complications. The relationship between these two nations is a complex tapestry of power dynamics, history, and differing ideologies. They argue that the US interferes with their internal affairs and has a history of imposing sanctions. Their leaders accuse the US of economic imperialism, placing the burden of their economic debacle on the shoulders of the world's most influential capitalist power. A tide of anger and resentment has been brewing as they hold the US accountable for their financial downfall. Their leaders, in a bid to rally the masses, have publicly denounced US policies, claiming that they are designed to exploit and suppress the economic potential of their country. In their narrative, the US is painted as an economic predator, employing a strategy of financial dominance to exploit the resources of their homeland. It is alleged that the US, through a complex web of economic sanctions and predatory lending practices, has effectively crippled the economy of their nation. The leaders, in their fiery speeches, claim that the US uses its economic muscle to ensure that their country remains economically subservient. They argue that the US manipulates their economy to serve its geopolitical interests while leaving their own people in a state of impoverishment. They speak of how the US has supposedly used its financial institutions to impose stringent conditions on their economy, undermining their national sovereignty. The leaders passionately argue that these actions have led their country into an economic quagmire with no clear way out. They invoke historical instances where such supposed economic imperialism has occurred, using them to construct a narrative of victimhood, thus stoking a nationalist sentiment among their populace. Despite the escalating war of words, the bitter accusations, and the impassioned speeches, the leaders' rhetoric remains unswerving. They continue to point the finger at the US, blaming them for the country's economic crisis. It oscillates between collaboration and confrontation, a tenuous balance that often seems to be on the brink of shifting. This dance is intrinsically tied up in the socio-political climate of the day, bearing the distinct markings of a world caught in the throes of change. Their interactions are a testament to the delicate nature of international relationships, each one a complex tapestry woven of numerous threads. Economic, political, cultural, all these factors and more come into play, tangling together to form a web of intrigue that is as fascinating as it is volatile. Every move, every decision is a calculated one, made with an eye on the ever-fluctuating global stage. Their dance is as much a spectacle as it is a strategic game. On one hand, we see instances of them working together, combining their strengths to bring about meaningful change. Yet, just as often, we witness the darker side of their relationship. It's in these moments that the true depth of their rivalry comes to the fore. This isn't just about political maneuvering or economic gain. This is about ideologies clashing, about differing visions for the future. It's a complex, intense dance that leaves no room for error, their every move watched by the world. And as we delve deeper into this intricate dance, we find evidence of state-sponsored anti-American propaganda. This is not just an empty claim, but a stark reality backed by tangible proof. This propaganda seeps into every aspect of life, shaping perspectives, influencing decisions, underscoring the deep-seated animosity that mars their relationship. This is what we're dealing with. A complex, volatile relationship that oscillates between collaboration and confrontation. A dance of nations fraught with tension where the stakes are high and the potential for disaster ever present. The evidence of state-sponsored anti-American propaganda is a stark reminder of the depth of this conflict, a chilling testament to the lengths that some are willing to go to in the pursuit of their own agendas. Competition for global dominance and ideological clashes fuel this tension between the two nations. At the heart of the discord is the race for supremacy, with each nation endeavoring to outdo the other, pushing boundaries and breaking limits. The quest for power and control has become a relentless drive that propels these nations forward, setting the stage for a rivalry unlike any other. These two nations, each standing tall with immense pride and patriotism, are locked in a never-ending struggle. They are under the scrutiny of the world's watchful eyes, their every move analyzed, dissected, and compared. The tension is palpable, the stakes are high, and the world watches with bated breath. The rivalry has not only split the globe into two opposing factions, but it has also deeply affected the very fabric of international diplomacy. Ideological differences complicate matters further. Each nation is deeply entrenched in their unique set of beliefs and values, creating an almost insurmountable divide. Their contrasting ideologies clash, echoing across the globe, causing rifts that are far-reaching and profound. These ideological disagreements extend beyond mere political discourse and have vast implications on economic policies, military strategies, and even cultural exchanges. These nations' desire for global dominance is not merely about territorial gains. It extends beyond the physical realm, reaching into the spheres of technology, commerce, and culture. Their aim is not just to rule the land, but also to shape the minds and hearts of people worldwide. Yet, amidst this tension and rivalry, there exists a sense of mutual respect and acknowledgement of each other's prowess. After all, such fervor and determination for dominance could only be fueled by worthy adversaries. Competition for global dominance and ideological clashes fuel this tension between the two nations. It is essential to understand these perspectives, as they shape international relations and influence policies. This understanding of global perspectives is critical, as they mold the dynamics within the international arena. Moreover, they shape the strategies employed by policymakers worldwide. However, it's important to remember that despite existing tensions, diplomacy and dialogue remain crucial. They are the keys that unlock the door to better relationships, fostering mutual understanding and cooperation. These tools of diplomacy can diffuse tension, construct bridges of cooperation, and pave the way for positive change. The potential for such change is always within our grasp, reachable through transparent, sincere communication and reciprocal understanding. As we journey ahead, it becomes increasingly evident that with the right approach and commitment, we can cultivate a world that thrives on peaceful international relations. As we move forward, let's hold on to the belief that with the right strategies and commitment, we can foster a world of better, more peaceful international relations.